Leslie, hey Sean, do you think Disney acquiring Lucasfilm was a mistake, or do you think the future of Star Wars would have been if it had never happened? I don't think inherently Disney buying Lucasfilm was a mistake. I don't know what Star Wars we would have gotten without it. I think some blend between what we currently have and what would have happened otherwise probably would have been better than nothing or very little from George Lucas if he'd kept it, or the oversaturation we currently have. Something in the middle that kept Star Wars as events that said, let's do a handful of stories and let's do them right. I don't think they did themselves any favor by throwing out the EU and then doing their own books that are canon. I don't think that's actually helped them. I don't think that that's fleshed out the universe in enough interesting ways. As someone that even tried early on to follow the books and be a part of kind of like, oh, I want to be a part of all the lore. And there were a couple of them I was like, that was kind of cool. But, you know, it answers a few questions like, when exactly did everyone find out who Princess Leia's dad was? Like, that's answered in a book, and you go, oh, that's kind of interesting. Like, what would be the ramifications of that be? But what's interesting about that, the answer to that question, is not what I go to Star Wars for. And that, I feel, is the problem with a lot of the Star Wars books, is that you can't, like, the big epic storytelling of Star Wars, you can't do it with when you're cranking out 10 books a year. And that's the same problem with cranking out 5 TV shows a year, and that you just, there's a certain epicness that can only happen at a certain, every so often. And when you oversaturate, you lose that. So, I don't inherently think it was a mistake. I think part of the problem was Kathleen Kennedy was the wrong pick. And then Disney won't fire her or let her go. It wasn't a mistake. 2020 hindsight, it was a mistake to hire Kathleen Kennedy. I don't think it was obvious that it was a mistake at the time. You have to keep in mind, when she was hired, she had a 30-year track record of being a legendary producer and the heir apparent. Like, it made sense in a lot of ways. And then immediately you see what she was really bad at. And you can look over the last 10 years, and she's not a person with a vision the way George Lucas has a vision, and she has done a terrible job of recruiting and keeping talent. And those are kind of two of the most important things that you need to be over something like Lucasfilm, to be over something like Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy has been bad at two of her most important jobs. And that has led to a very polarized fan base, infighting, and just a lot of frustration. Some of that has always been there with Star Wars. You can't say that Kathleen Kennedy made Star Wars fight with each other. Yeah, I was around in 99. I was around in 2002. I was around in 2005. I was a brat in 2005. I was kind of a brat in 2002. I was not a brat in 99. I was drinking all the Kool-Aid. Apparently it started in 83 with the Ewoks. Like, Star Wars has been fighting for a long time. Kathleen Kennedy inherited that, and she made it worse. And Disney won't get rid of her, and they won't replace her. So it's tough to say. If I could A/B test, like if I knew what George Lucas would have done otherwise, if I knew what other options were on the table to compare it, it's a little bit, you can get a better image for it. But like, you know, I was at a hotels this last weekend, and some channel was playing Star Wars movies. And I watched first Star Wars twice. Not the first 30 minutes, but the back hour of the movie I watched twice. I watched Empire Strikes Back, and I watched a lot of Solo while I was watching the Golden Globes. I was switching back and forth. And the fact that some of those movies, some of the new ones have sucked, hasn't made me like the old ones any less. And I've had fun with some of the other ones, even some of the ones that aren't great, like Solo. I was in a hotel room, and I went, yeah, I'll watch Solo a little bit. Most of these clips are pulled from my Patreon live streams. I do about 6 live streams every single month. For $2 per month, $20 per year, you can get access to all the exclusive videos and live streams. For $5 per month, you get your name on my end card. At the top tier, you get a 30-minute video chat with me each month. The link down below in the description has more information.